The one thing that separates the NBA from every other professional sport: iconic moves. Kids can recreate it on the blacktop, shouting out their favorite players' names while mimicking their moves. So, here are 10 minutes of iconic NBA players' signature moves. James' double step back might be a travel, but we don't care. It gives him the millimeter he needs for space. Reason number 1 why he was the leading scorer of the 2010s. He was even doing it before they called it a step back. While maybe it wasn't used as often as Harden's step back, Dame's series-ending logo shot was equally iconic. So iconic, in fact, that he's got a 10-minute highlight reel of him basically sinking half-court shots. But is that as good as Steph's shuffle sidestep 3? Because apparently dancing after he makes a 3 is too on the nose. Or how about Steph's no-looker? Imagine being so good you don't even have to look to know you sunk it. Nikola Jokic might not be as flashy as Steph, but he's got a couple tricks up his sleeve. How about the Sombor shuffle, an awkward gangly fallback that always goes down? Jokic might have stolen the belt for best player in the league this year from Giannis. But don't discount the Greek Freak's signature move. His spin move is unstoppable. He's a 7-foot whirling dervish, like a mutant Walt Frazier. Speaking of 7-foot unicorns, how about Kevin Durant's signature play? He stops on a dime and pops it in your face. Seriously, how do you guard that? People are starting to forget about Melo, probably because some kid in Charlotte stole his nickname. But his jab step jumper was iconic in his New York days, probably because he was too out of shape to get to the basket the way he did in Denver. Jayson Tatum's is way more subtle. It doesn't look the same every time, but that power dribble and pound sidestep has made him an icon in a city full of icons. Everything Luka does is iconic, because his body type is so weird for the NBA. But maybe his best shot is that cowering step back, where he hunches over and dribbles out, only to step back and sink a jumper. Maybe an even better move by Luka is that post-up, when he uses his size advantage to punish any team that dares to cover him with a guard. Remind you of anyone? Luka lifted his high post fall away from the big German, Dirk Nowitzki. That shot was unguardable, proving to the world that unicorns do exist. More importantly, he proved that big guys don't always have to be a punishing post presence. Speaking of dominant forwards from the 2000s, how about Timmy Duncan? Left block, bank shot, the big fundamental. While Duncan did everything in the most fundamentally sound way possible, his teammate Manu did not. Manu dug deep into his EuroLeague past for this move, eventually coined the eurostep. Manu might have brought the eurostep to the NBA, but D. Wade perfected it.
Wade sidesteps. He makes that look so easy. Put a copyright on that move for Wade. Wade cups the ball, scoops it home.
Sometimes players need to get sneaky to find an edge, and that's what Jose Grand Theft Alvarado had to do when he made it to the league. Hiding behind coaches, ducking down, whatever it takes, he'd trick the opponent into giving up the rock.
Coming up short. I brought up on the way to break, and Jose will take it away. Smart play.
Rajon Rondo also had to fight for his spot at the table, making up for his lack of a jumper with this nasty behind-the-back fake.
Winding down the third. Rondo. Oh, no, he's big. We've seen that before for Rondo.
How about Jamal Crawford, master of the 4-point play?
Screener or facilitator. Good work by Jamal. He's falling back to the point play. Oh, he got a way of doing that.
We go into the Wayback Machine for this one, a player ahead of his time. Tim Hardaway had the sickest handles of the 90s, a killer crossover that made him one of the peskiest point guards to match up against. But that cannot compare to Allen Iverson, who brought the blacktop to the hardwood with his crossovers. Do you remember when he crossed peak MJ over as a rookie? Of course, Michael Jordan's move was especially iconic. He's got 3 or 4 moves that could qualify for icon status, but the best was that spinning fadeaway. So iconic. In fact, that Kobe Bryant tried his best to copy it. Do you think Kobe's was better? We're about to get to the 3 most iconic moves in NBA history. Leave a comment with any you think we left out. Hakeem's Dream Shake was especially iconic because it was different every single time. 1 move, 2 moves, 3 moves, whatever it took to get an open shot. It became so iconic that he literally started a clinic for NBA players to show them how it's done. It helps when you're 8 inches taller than anyone else in the league, but Wilt's silky smooth finger roll was unstoppable. Literally. There are so many iconic players in NBA history, and even more iconic plays. For some of them, it was one bizarre play that they could never replicate, like that time Dr. J defied physics. But the greatest move in NBA history is so iconic because it was so reliable. He used it 10 times a game for 20 years, holding the scoring title for decades. That shot is the skyhook. Which iconic moves did we miss? Are there any that you think are overrated? Let us know in the comments, then watch this Anthony Edwards video right here. He will definitely have his own iconic signature move by the time his career is over. Listen to the Wrong Opinion, Useless NBA Trivia, and Garbage Rankings for more NBA content.